Hello, podcast pals. Welcome to what is yet another episode of the With Purpose podcast. In today's episode, we take a moment and ponder on the idea of the Goldilocks of accountability, or the perfect place and time in which accountability can or should exist. Welcome. Let's take a trip back in time. When I say the word fossil, what is it that comes to mind? I would bet you're thinking, well, something that is usually around 10,000 years of age. Some remains of perhaps an animal that is buried in a sort of sediment. Yeah? Really, what I tend to think of when I say the word fossil is life that once was and is no longer. Life that once was and is no longer. Although, within that same breath of thought, the thing that we think is dead, fossil, is surprisingly breathing a rich breath of information to the one exploring it in current time. In other words, even the dead are serviceable and hold the essence of providing value. Yes, even death is utilitarian. That thing that is done and over with is still useful. That relationship or that business that didn't work out, even that is useful to us in present times. Here's my question. Can the dead be held accountable? Can the dead be held accountable? There is a quote that I recently came across by singer and actress Julie Andrews, and that is, quote, "When a door closes, another window opens," end quote. I took a moment just to ponder on really what it means for a system to exist in life in which, when a door closes, it is a signal and an indicator of an opened window. What does it really mean to have an opportunity close on you and count it as joy, for it is a signal to an open window? Could you imagine taking time at the door, wrangling and trying to figure it out? Why is this door jammed? Only to find out that the reason for no access is due to a wrong address. It is a signal to an open window. Definition: accountability. Oxford. The fact of being responsible for your decisions or actions and expected to explain them when you are asked. Did you get that? The fact of being. So, chronology is pivotal in the notion of accountability. It is nuanced in the present time. That is where it lives. It is where it finds meaning. Although the genesis of accountability will always be behind us, time gone by, and in the past. During the times of World War II, Winston Churchill often spoke about how history would view the actions taken during significant events, particularly that of World War II. Hence the famous phrase, "History will judge you." This is the most common version of it, although the original goes something like this, quote, "Those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it," end quote. A better sounding and well known version of that is history will judge you. Much of what was built was destroyed during the turmoil of World War II. There's an African proverb that says, when the elephants fight, it is the grass that suffers. Again, I ask, can the dead be held accountable? What once was, lived, and exuded life, can that which is no longer be held accountable? I find it interesting that different time perspectives are linked to various psychological outcomes. According to the Zimbardo and Boyd study done in the year 1999, there is a juxtaposition of living in the past, in a negative way, of course, that invokes depression, and the same for the future that invokes anxiety. As for the present, that is the Goldilocks of mental stability. You may be asking, well, what does this have to do with accountability and the dead? Well, I'm glad you asked. Like a fossil, there is no accountability without an aged action. You with me? Actions that we live out today will be dead and gone tomorrow. And that would allow one to say, it is a thing of the past. The heuristics around this is that inhabiting the past is cause for depression, and inhabiting the future is cause for anxiety. And accountability lives in the present. Hence, the dead are dead and not held accountable. They are left dead and where they belong, behind us. Fossils hold a great breadth of information, and that information informs the present. It is almost as if the present, once past, holds the wisdom of what the future of that present would be. This is a convoluted analogy, although take a moment and think about it. A present, while in the present, would not testify for the future. Once past, then holds the wisdom to inform the future. Hmm. Well, put differently, in the field of statistics, the rationale behind modeling or foretelling, if you will, is found in the observation of patterns and relationships of historical data to inform future occurrences. The higher the quality and quantity of historical data, the more accurate one is in foretelling the future. The dead are not held accountable. It is the dead that inform the present. Think about it this way: the business venture that you went hard for and didn't work out is a data point in your fossil fabric or a fossil tapestry. The relationship that you attempted to build for the past decade and had to watch it bleed till it was no more, that is another data point to your fossil tapestry. The richer the data point, the better. And many of such data points make for a great foretell of the present. Painful experiences that happen at great frequency while belonging in the past build great present times. The dead is dead and gone. It is simply a memoir for the future, and this makes time as a concept an attractive concept. Looking back at the analogy of depression and anxiety, it is almost evident that Time indicates to us that the present is what matters. Now, this is not to say that the past is not important, because it is. Although, what it is simply a point or a data point in latent space that informs our present. George Santayana puts it this way in his book titled The Life of Reason. Quote, history repeats itself. End quote. Can the dead be held accountable? Just like life, accountability is established in the now, although it is required of it to have past actions. It is required for the dead to exist, excuse the pun, for the present to hold accountability. I reckon holding a grudge is closely related to the secretion of cortisol. The longer you hold, or the longer the hold of a grudge, the more prolonged the stress state. Again, life and time indicate that the past is not a place where one should live and wonder. Can the dead be held accountable? Experiences that take place in time build a memoir and a storage for information to inform tomorrow. They may hurt at times, they may be unwanted at times, and they may come as a shock at times. Yet these are all qualities of a rich memory block, which in its magnitude would inform tomorrow with high accuracy. The past is not meant to live in it. Stagnated waters stinketh. Let's find the flow in the fabric of space and time. The dead is dead and gone. Accountability is established in the present. Live and let live. C'est la vie. Cheers.